Jurassic World Evolution 3 keeps knocking it out of the park. In this video, I have for you a new gameplay trailer that teases an exciting narrative, never before seen in-game footage, new animations from a BBC documentary, all the details from the Jurassic World Evolution 3 website, and top secret inside information from an exclusive Frontier event that I can finally share with you.
Now, I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but please...
Caution, gate opening.
This is your first and final warning. Din must not continue.
We'll go over all the new footage and brand new details in 3 chapters: gameplay, dinosaurs, and creativity. Starting with gameplay, all about the campaign, new park management features, and other game modes.
Welcome to the Dinosaur Integration Network, or DIN for short. Our organization brings groundbreaking, sustainable breeding programs to a global clientele of demanding site owners. We are taking paleocuration into exciting new territory.
In the brand new campaign for Jurassic World Evolution 3, we will be working for DIN, the Dinosaur Integration Network, a company headed by the returning Cabot Finch. The campaign is set after the events of Dominion, with dinosaurs spread across the globe, and based on the information so far, it is not linked to Jurassic World Rebirth. At this point, I believe Jurassic World Rebirth will not be part of the game at launch, but I remain hopeful that it will be a DLC, an expansion specifically later down the line. In Jurassic World Evolution 3, DIN, or DIN, has its building sites all over the world. Dinosaur sanctuaries, commercial parks, and secure facilities depending on the needs of our local clients. The worldwide locations we will be building on in the campaign are Japan, China, Indonesia, Malta, Italy, the Azores, and in 3 locations in the United States: Nevada, Montana, and Hawaii. Similar to Jurassic World Evolution 1, this will be a non-linear campaign, which means you can switch back and forth between locations, working towards completing one shared tech tree. So for example, you could use the better finances of, let's say, your park in Japan to do research, and then go back to a park in, let's say, Malta to improve your park there with the new research you acquired. While building our sites, we must upkeep our reputation with 3 factions: entertainment, conservation, and security. Each faction will provide us with different technologies to improve our parks. As revealed today in the brand new gameplay trailer, there will be a secretive rival group attempting to sabotage us, which will hopefully lend itself to a compelling narrative across the campaign as we complete our missions. I will be doing a full campaign playthrough when the game launches, and of course until then I'll keep you up to date on all of the news, so if you don't want to miss out on anything, consider subscribing to the channel. And by the way, welcome to the thousands of people who subscribed since the announcement this Friday. I'm so happy so many people are as excited about this game as I am. Alongside the campaign, we have 2 more game modes: Sandbox, which we will talk about more in the creative chapter of this video, and Challenge Mode. Challenge Mode we were familiar with from the first and second game, and based on the description will more or less work the same, having us race against the clock to beat a part time at varying difficulty level, and with unique challenges depending on which challenge mode you tackle. Beating Challenge Mode will not just unlock unique dinosaur skins, but also, importantly, scenery items to use across the 3 game modes. Looks like Evo's gonna have to play some Challenge Mode. New park management features to help us control the chaos include a new ATV team, security cameras, and watchtowers. Security cameras have a viewing range much like viewing cameras, and will alert of anything happening in the view of the camera, like sabotage or a dinosaur escape. To combat micromanagement, we can assign an ACU team to the security camera. If it then captures a dinosaur breaking out, it will automatically dispatch a chopper to tranquilize the escaped dinosaur. The new ATV teams come with a supply post that has a service radius. Any buildings within that radius will automatically trigger a response from the maintenance team if anything gets broken or needs to be restocked. Ideally, you'd ensure 100% coverage of all buildings in the park with the supply posts, so repairs and resupplies will happen automatically without our input. Today's gameplay trailer gives us our first peek at the new Gentle Giants Encounters attraction, where our guests can touch the dinosaurs. Finally having a petting zoo in the game after first seeing it in the movie in 2015, and then both previous games not doing anything with that, is a huge relief. It could be just a placeable thing with looped animations, but I hope it will be more dynamic than that. Another new attraction will be the balloon tour inspired by Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, and then a text on the website hints very strongly that we'll finally have some sort of attraction out on the water, which I suspect and hope is the river tour finally getting added this time around. What I noticed during the exclusive event that Frontier invited me and other creators to, and what you will see in this extra footage as well that we were provided, is that the undo button is not always visible and not always lit up. The use of the undo button will be limited to ensure we can't use it to cheat the challenges of gameplay. Thankfully, the undo button will be available for our creative building, but I'll save the creative aspect for last, and we'll talk more in depth now about the dinosaurs, their behaviors and needs, and nesting.
Where previous pioneers exclusively synthesized female dinosaurs, we are also creating males. These animals aren't assets to us, but the beginning of a new evolution. And do keep an eye on the young dinosaurs. They can inherit more than just appearances.
The exact number of prehistoric species in the base game at launch is 82, which includes new species, community favorites, and icons from the Jurassic World franchise. The latter being, the on-screen dinosaurs. 82 species is exactly 40 species less than what Jurassic World Evolution 2 ended with. And given that it is confirmed the 82 include new species, we will lose more than 40 species from Jurassic World Evolution 2 to Jurassic World Evolution 3, at least at launch. The next video I will do is a speculation about which dinosaurs I think will get cut from the roster, so if you're curious about that, subscribe to the channel, and of course for all of the news about Jurassic World Evolution 3. The shrinking of the roster from 122 to 82 is one of the few things that I see quite a few disappointed comments about. While it's fair to want all species to return, do keep in mind that for Jurassic World Evolution 3, it's not just as simple as copying over each animal from the previous game into the new one. The breeding mechanic means each animal also requires a baby model and a male model.
So why male models?
I just told you that a moment ago.
So cutting 40 species means cutting the workload of making 80 new models. I think it's very clear where Frontier invested that effort and time instead, and I think that was 100% the right call. Of those 82 species in the base game, 75 species will also be able to breed, so only 7 species are excluded from breeding. As it happens, we had 7 hybrids in Jurassic World Evolution 2, so it's very possible these are species that are in the game, but won't be able to breed, given that hybrids in real life can't breed. However, I also suspect tiny creatures like Compsognathus, which is almost certainly in the base game, given that it's an on-screen dinosaur, I think they also won't be able to breed because their offspring would simply be too small. I also don't think all 7 hybrids are in the base game at launch. In fact, given that we only have 82 slots, I'd prefer not to have 7 of those taken up by hybrids. So I think the 7 species that are excluded from breeding will be a combination of hybrids and really, really small animals. One of the hybrids that is confirmed to return, and it won't surprise anyone, is the Indominus Rex, as it is name dropped in the information on the website. For our dinosaurs to breed, there are several requirements that we as park managers must meet. For starters, we first need to do research to unlock the technology to even incubate males so that we can have a breeding population. And your female animals will not be fertile throughout their entire lifespan. They will have 2 peaks of fertility and will be infertile at other times during their lifespan. Once you have males and fertile females sharing a habitat, you need to place a nest. Then different species will have different nests and habitat preferences for breeding. For example, Triceratops will only mate if there's no cohabitation. They don't like sharing their habitat with other species when they breed. T-Rex needs a nest that is hidden from the public, so outside the viewing range of a gallery and not near any guest path. Finally, to breed, you must max out the dinosaurs' comfort levels, so you have to optimize their habitat perfectly with the right type of food and coverage. When all those requirements are met, a female will lay eggs in the nest. Now, the breeding does not include any weird animations. I don't know why people thought differently. The female just backs up into the nest and eggs appear in the nest. If we click on the nest, we can assign scientists to meddle with the genetics. We can specify which male and female should breed, so we can have their traits passed down to their offspring. Because the juveniles will inherit skins and traits from their parents. So theoretically, you want to breed the highly fertile, docile, long-living dinosaurs, not the psychotic maniacs who crave violence. Theoretically. When the eggs have fully incubated, the babies will emerge from the nest in a standard animation, just like how adults emerge from the hatchery. The babies then have their own requirements for the habitat, in terms of food and social needs. Juveniles have a higher appeal than adults, and if you keep a juvenile's comfort high as it grows up, it will retain some or even all of that high appeal, so you'll have an adult with a boosted appeal. Through selective breeding, you can then pass this extra high appeal onto the next generation, and so on and so forth. That's the appeal of juveniles from a park management perspective. From a player's perspective, the appeal is going to be all of the incredible animations. Juveniles have their own unique idle animation and have interactions with other babies of the same species and with the adults. Their parents can call for their baby to come to them, the babies will follow their parents around, and when there is danger, the parent will protect its infant. So really a lot of work has gone into bringing these baby animals to life. I can share one negative about the dinosaurs so far, and that is that for the adults I've seen a lot of reused animations. The Triceratops had the same hatchery exit animation, the Mosasaurus has the same feeding animation, and the Velociraptor has the same social animation. Saying this is a negative is perhaps a bit harsh considering all the work that I just talked about that went into new behaviors for the babies, and the animations from Jurassic World Evolution 2 are amazing, so it's not bad that they're coming back. But it is maybe a little underwhelming, and highlights for me that it is really important that we get a good amount of new species among the 82 base species, so we can see some new spectacular animations, not just the cutesy baby behaviors. While working on this video last minute, we got extra looks at the new animations in the game via a BBC documentary. During this documentary, Frontier and Jurassic World Evolution 3 popped up, giving us our first look at the Dilophosaurus. Unfortunately, this footage shows that they are using the already smaller than paleo-accurate Dilophosaurus as the adult, and the baby is even smaller. I didn't expect differently, but I know people were hoping that they'd make the Dilo model we already have, the infant, and then use the opportunity to give us a big, proper Dilo as the adult. The documentary also shows a clip of the Protoceratops animation. Protoceratops, keep in mind, is a deluxe edition dinosaur. Final dinosaur behavior is related to deep water, so I'll leave that for when we get to the terrain tools later in the video. So now onto what I think is the biggest change from Jurassic World Evolution 2 to Jurassic World Evolution 3, which are the new creative tools.
Every site must be a perfect balance of security and spectacle. Protecting our guests is crucial, but so is inspiring the next generation.
Jurassic World Evolution 3 brings Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster style modular building into our dinosaur parks. In this extra footage I have to show you, you can see what modular building is in case you weren't familiar with it yet. It means you have the elements and the tools to build whatever you want piece by piece. This is a pretty daunting undertaking, requiring patience, skill, and a lot of creativity. But if you can bring that to the table, you can build absolutely incredible things with modular building. Now, modular building is a feature I personally like more on paper than in practice. Obviously, it's great that you can build whatever you want, but can you? Can you build whatever you want? Do you have that talent? Even when the building tools are unlimited, there is still a limitation, but that limitation is you. For me, that feels kind of stressful, because when the tools are there, I do feel the pressure to use them. And I've built stuff in the past in Prehistoric Kingdom and even modded Jurassic World Evolution 2 that I'm really proud of, but it was a long process to get to those end results. And for me, the big appeal of Jurassic World Evolution 2 was the simplicity and the quick satisfaction you got out of it. So modular building is not my favorite feature that is coming to the new game, but I do understand why a lot of people are really excited about this absolute freedom when it comes to creativity. I do want to point out that the amenities we see in this trailer shot look very similar to Jurassic World Evolution 2, so for these buildings we might also have a return of the customization feature for amenities, which allowed us to cycle through pre-made alternatives. Thankfully, while adding modular building, Frontier has done two important things to help out those of us who aren't architects. For starters, they're providing a lot of pre-built buildings that are ready-made for us to just plop down. Each of these buildings is, at its core, just a grey box, but the incredible builders at Frontier use the pieces in the game to build them out into incredible structures. And while the footage we have shows 5 building styles per building, in the exclusive footage that was shown at the event for us creators, there were 6 options. So each building has 6 variations, 6 different styles. The other thing Frontier has done is not just give us all access to the workshop so we can download and use other people's creations, they've made it really easy to access the best community builds. While you're in the game, the top community creations for whatever building you have selected and want to place down will show up in the in-game UI. So you have the 6 Frontier buildings and the top community builds right there at your fingertips for you to use. Now, if you do want to build everything from scratch, you will have an absolutely insane amount of pieces to choose from. You can see how many tabs there are in the custom pieces menu and how far you can scroll in the selected tabs. We didn't see much of it during the event, but they mentioned we'll have items with a franchise look, and I did see all of the individual elements of the Biosyn decorations, as well as a whole tab with statues, which include complete skeletons and pieces of skeletons. Each element can be resized and clipped into anything else, and a lot of the items are completely recolorable with any color on the spectrum. The gizmo that allows you to move and resize these pieces also works on rocks and foliage, so you can create incredible rock walls and landscapes. And that's how we transition into the incredible new terrain tool, which again is basically lifted out of Frontier's Planet series with a whole host of options, like creating ramps with the click of a button. This kind of spectacular terrain editing is what I wanted most out of the game, so I'm so happy that they delivered on that. This feature allows us to make our parks look so epic on top of the great work Frontier has done designing the maps that we've seen so far. What I've really noticed is how we can build right up to the waterline. On the topic of maps, what I'm curious about is this line right here. Choose from a selection of locations featured across the campaign and previous Jurassic World Evolution 2 titles. My first reading of this was me being 100% convinced and excited that this means they will bring back specific maps from Jurassic World Evolution 1 and Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I was already daydreaming of a possible return of Isla Tacaño. However, while preparing for this video, I'm no longer sure they mean the exact maps. I suspect they're just talking about the global locations. Malta and Italy from Jurassic World Evolution 2, and undoubtedly we'll have a Nublar and probably Sorna map as well. Let me know what you think, but my interpretation is that we shouldn't get too excited about a return of the exact maps, just a return to locations of the same name. Back to the terrain tools, Frontier added a clever feature that has a waterfall spawn automatically if you put water at the edge of a cliff. That's absolutely brilliant. The water tool itself has a new option as well, deep water. Now mind you, there's no variable water depth. We have two separate water brushes, one for shallow water and one for deep water. So the deep water has a standard depth sloping up along the perimeter to allow dinosaurs to go in and out for a swim. We don't know yet which animals will swim. At the moment they mention only semi-aquatics as a group, and the only dinosaur we've seen swim is the Spinosaurus, both in today's gameplay trailer and during the creator event that Frontier hosted. During that event, we got an extended look at the Spinosaurus swimming, and it looks pretty good. Although at the moment it generates quite an extreme white water effect around the dinosaur, kind of like a speedboat, which I hope they'll tweak. I've only seen the Spinosaurus swim at the surface, not dive, and even though it does hunt fish in the deep water, that just involves an animation where it stops swimming to chomp down some fish. I don't want to underplay how amazing it is that they did add this feature of swimming dinosaurs though, and I should also address that everything we've seen so far at the event in the trailers is pre-alpha gameplay. This stuff would have been recorded weeks if not months ago, plus they still have several months to go until launch to polish and change some things. If you're enjoying staying up to date on all of the latest news, give this video a like and subscribe for more. Right now you can check out my video from Friday, which has extra information I did not go over again in today's video. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the hype.